Is Tetwa. I am 28 years old. I fell pregnant at the age of 17. I was in a relationship with a partner who is 10 years older than me. I don't even think it was a conscious decision to stop using protection. It was just like, okay, so we don't have, like pregnancy was the furthest thing from my mind. I didn't think I would fall pregnant. And then I fell pregnant. That's when my world changed. Like that's when everything stopped for a moment. Like, okay, so many things went through my head. Like, what am I gonna do with the child? How are the people at school gonna look at me? My mom, my family. What happens to my dreams? Like my future? Using a condom gives me the chance to make a decision about what the next move is. At least I know now that a condom will definitely prevent so many unnecessary things from happening. Condoms give me peace of mind so that I can live my life with confidence.
Use a condom. Have peace of mind. #no regrets.
The National Department of Health, together with USAID and the Center for Communication Impact, have come up with a campaign to help change conversations around sexual health and intimacy. Their Peace of Mind #No Regrets campaign aims to challenge existing stigma by promoting condom usage and better choices. So to tell us more about the campaign, we joined in our Pretoria studios by Bronwyn Pearce. She's the CEO for the Center for Communications Impact. Bronwyn, great to have you here on Morning Live. Thanks for being our guest.
Thank you for having me, Leanne.
You know, we really have come a long way when it comes to stigma and open conversations about HIV and AIDS. But what are some of the stigmas that still surround condom use?
Yeah, I think they do still exist. There are myths and misconceptions which we thought that, you know, we've eradicated over the years. But I think for many people, especially younger people who are becoming sexually active and newly sexually active, there are a lot of fears around condom use. Am I using it correctly? Will I be able to negotiate condom sex and condom use with my sexual partner? You know, how do I get rid of it? You know, is it 100% safe? So I think some of those questions, especially for young people, we have to be able to answer, and we have to open up spaces for young people to have conversations and to build their skills and confidence around using condoms. I think some of the myths that existed earlier on around what's in the condom, you know, does what in the condom, the lubricant, for example, give you HIV? I think we, for the most part, have gotten rid of all of those. But I think what's really important is that we consistently communicate with young people, especially, as I said, newly sexually active young people, around the importance of condom use.
I mean, what's the response been so far? I suppose that's the question that we need to focus on now.
Can you repeat that, Leanne, please?
The response so far, how has it been?
I think, yeah, I can't hear you really well, Leanne. Maybe you can just.
Bronwyn, I'm going to try one more time, but if not, we will take a break and then try and rectify the sound. Let me just see, if you can hear me. And the question I was asking is the response to these campaigns so far. How has it been?
Okay, the response to the campaign. I think it's early days, Leanne. We went live with the campaign at the beginning of December around World AIDS Day. So it has been a little bit early for us to really tell what the response is. What we're hoping is that, you know, we will get quite a lot of response through our social media platforms, because not only is the campaign on television and radio, but also on our Facebook sites, on our Instagram sites, for example. So we're hoping that the more people get to engage with the campaign and the content, that the responses will come through. But it is still early days.
Yeah, it certainly is early days. But I mean, this isn't the first campaign around condom usage that's been there and that's been aimed at trying to get people to use condoms and understand that by not using a condom, the consequences could be massive. And especially to talk to this during the festive holiday season, people are on holiday and they do stupid things. But what do you hope will be different to this campaign as opposed to others?
Yeah. I think, you know, what we often do with communication, especially around HIV prevention, we think that if we've done a campaign, we've run it for a few months, you know, the message will stick, the behavior will change. But we know that with any behavior, you know, you have to be consistently engaging with our audiences. We have to encourage, we have to give new information all the time. So I think what we're hoping to achieve with this campaign is that, you know, we are presenting young people themselves who are talking about those very consequences of not using a condom. And in this way, we hope that we, you know, the message will resonate better with other young people. Because you've just seen Sihle talking about the consequences of her not using a condom, and she's now decided that that's what she should do. She fell pregnant really young and had experienced just a whole lot of issues that could have been avoided. Yeah. So I think what we want to do with this campaign is present young people's stories and engage other young people through those stories, because condom use is not a once-off act.
No.
You know? It needs to be consistent, it needs to be correct, and it needs to be used with every single sexual act to gain the benefit of the protection against both HIV and pregnancy. So we're hoping that, you know, using more young people to speak to other young people will get the message home.
Yeah, certainly, and I believe it. I mean, I believe it will. It's better to hear this from somebody you can relate to, as opposed to somebody who, you know, whatever. You speak to your generation, I'll speak to mine, and that's what's important.
Correct.
But the research that you draw from, and that's, I think, what's quite important is, you know, how open is the public to using condoms? Are we finding that they are? I mean, wherever you go, government is supplying free condoms. You go to public bathrooms or public toilets, universities, even schools. I mean, it's gone as far as that. But when it comes to actually using them, how open is the public to it?
I think the public are fairly open to use it. I think what's difficult is the consistent use. So it's not just, you know, I trust my partner and now I stop using condoms. And I think that's what often happens, is that we, you know, young people, and we all do, we get into relationships. After a while, we start to trust each other. We may or may not have tested for HIV. We feel a bit more comfortable with our partners. And then, you know, the condom is the first thing to go. So I think people, especially their first sexual acts within a relationship, people are very aware that they need to protect themselves.
Yeah.
But what happens 3, 4, 5 months down the road, you know? And I think what we're seeing in the research is that although new infections are declining in South Africa, the rates of new infections amongst especially young men is declining at a lower rate than it is amongst young women. You know, people are having sex earlier. And so, you know, what we want to do is to normalize condom use within sexual relationships, so that it doesn't become an afterthought. It becomes just, it's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a sexual relationship, it's non-negotiable, and you want, and as our campaign says, you want peace of mind. You know, that you don't have to deal with other issues after your sexual interaction.
It's amazing when you speak like this. It's almost like you want to sort of, you know, you don't want to have those regrets, and you want to tap into your younger self and say, don't be stupid, don't ruin it for just a couple of minutes of satisfaction. It's not worth it. If we look at sort of other countries that have embarked on similar campaigns, and I mean, it's very difficult with South Africa having such a high HIV/AIDS rate, we know that, but we are not the only country in the world that struggles with unwanted pregnancies, with the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. How do other countries, well, how do we fare when it comes to condom use compared to other countries?
Yeah, I think we're probably doing okay, but I think we can do a lot better. I mean, I think, and the issue is measuring it on an ongoing basis. I mean, when big surveys are done to get a sense of what the usage is at a national level, it's quite an expensive exercise, and we can only do that every 3 to 5 years as a country, as in the HSRC survey. So I think we're not doing too badly, but I think certainly our concerns are around young people. I mean, people are people, irrespective of which country you live, and we're humans and we behave in certain ways. So I think the same kind of trends are seen in many other countries, and we're fairly fortunate in South Africa that condoms are freely available. They're even scented now. The male condoms are even scented now. So I think we're doing quite a lot as a country to encourage condom use. Yes, we have some difficulties with distribution and getting condoms into spaces that aren't necessarily in clinics, you know. It's still difficult with condoms in schools and in communities, in spaces where people feel comfortable, you know, grabbing a box of condoms or whatever it is. So I think we've come a long way. We are concerned though with slightly, you know, with dropping levels of condom use, and what we're trying to do is to capture the very young people so that it is normalized. You know, condom use is just normalized. It does become difficult a bit later on when we are in marriages and more steady relationships use condoms, but we need to normalize condom use within it. It's not something extraordinary. It just is. It's just what you do.
Yeah, should be just like that. Bronwyn, thank you very much for joining us here on the program and for putting up with the bad sound, but it seemed that it sort of worked itself out during the interview. Bronwyn Pearce is the CEO for the Center for Communications Impact, talking to us about the Peace of Mind #NoRegrets campaign, aiming to challenge existing stigma by promoting condom use all the time and making